Number 1. Emotions unleashed. The dark side isn't just about being evil. It's about raw, unfiltered emotion. Unlike the Jedi, who used the light side of the Force, Darksiders drew power from raw, often negative emotions such as anger, hatred, greed, jealousy, fear, aggression, pride, and unrestrained passion. Think of it like the difference between a controlled campfire and a raging wildfire. Both are fire, but one serves while the other consumes. When Luke confronted Vader on the second Death Star, we witnessed this firsthand. The Emperor wasn't just taunting Luke for fun. He was trying to tap into those emotions. "I can feel your anger. It gives you focus. Makes you stronger," Palpatine tells Luke in Episode 6. The dark side operates like an emotional amplifier, taking your feelings and cranking them up to 11. But here's the kicker. Fear, anger, hate, and aggression, in the short term, make our minds more focused, give us a huge burst of energy and determination, and thus make us more effective in getting things done and in obtaining what we seek. The rush of adrenaline is seductive and pleasurable. It's basically the Force equivalent of a dangerous performance-enhancing drug. Quick results, terrible side effects. The Sith Code itself embodies this philosophy. Peace is a lie. There is only passion. Through passion, I gain strength. Through strength, I gain power. Through power, I gain victory. Through victory, my chains are broken. The Force shall free me. Each line builds on using intense emotion as fuel. Unlike the Jedi Code, which promotes serenity and knowledge, the Sith embrace their darkest feelings. This emotional intensity isn't just philosophical window dressing. Some believe the dark side to be more generous than the light, as it provided power, strength, and determination. Many fallen Jedi throughout history, from Exar Kun to Count Dooku, turned because they genuinely believed channeling these emotions made them more effective. They weren't entirely wrong. In combat situations, that surge of dark side power could mean the difference between victory and defeat. The problem? Once you start drawing on those emotions, it becomes increasingly difficult to stop. The dark side doesn't just use your emotions, it amplifies them until they consume you entirely. Number 2. Physical transformation. Ever notice how Sith Lords don't exactly win beauty contests? That's not just bad skincare routines. While the dark side enhanced the potential of Force users that accessed it, its use invited mental, emotional, and eventually physical corruption. Notable signs of such corruption included a transformation in the eyes, which turned a distinct, fiery orange, yellow, or reddish color, with the irises sometimes becoming reptilian slits. Remember Anakin's transformation. Fresh-faced Jedi Knight to yellow-eyed Sith Lord happened the moment he pledged himself to Palpatine. But that was just the beginning. The physical corruption accelerates with each dark act. By the time he fought Obi-Wan on Mustafar, his appearance had already begun shifting, not just from the lava injuries, but from the dark side eating away at him from within. Emperor Palpatine himself showcased the most dramatic transformation. While some of his disfigurement came from his own Force lightning being reflected back at him by Mace Windu, much of his ghastly appearance stemmed from decades of dark side corruption. His yellowed eyes, pale skin, and withered features weren't just battle scars, they were the price of unlimited power. The physical changes serve as warning signs. Those yellow eyes, that's your body's check engine light flashing. The dark side fundamentally alters your physiology at a cellular level. Your midichlorians, those microscopic life forms that connect beings to the Force, become corrupted and twisted. This corruption manifests outwardly as your body tries to cope with the unnatural energies flowing through it. But here's what makes it truly terrifying. Most Darksiders see these changes as badges of honor. They're so addicted to the power that they view their deteriorating appearance as proof of their commitment. Count Dooku maintained a more refined appearance because he came to the dark side later in life and practiced a more controlled approach. But even he couldn't completely escape the yellowing eyes during moments of intense dark side use. The worst cases? Those who fully surrendered to the dark side became walking nightmares. In Legends, beings like Darth Sion held their decaying bodies together through pure hatred and will. The dark side kept them alive long past when they should have died, turning existence itself into constant agony. The power that promised to free them instead transformed them into prisoners within their own corrupted flesh. Love what you're learning? Hit that subscribe button and join our journey through the galaxy's deepest mysteries. We explore the lore you crave, from ancient Sith secrets to the latest canon revelations. Number 3. Ancient powers. The Sith didn't just stumble upon cool Force tricks, they inherited millennia of dark knowledge. Ancient Sith learned to use rituals, incantations, and objects imbued with the dark side's power to achieve almost magical effects. similar to the Night Sisters of Dathomir. We're talking about abilities that make Force lightning look like a party trick. The history traces back to the infinite empire of the Rakata, who dominated the galaxy 25,000 years before the Battle of Yavin. These aliens were able to harness the dark side to create engineering feats unheard of in their time, such as the hyperdrive and the Starforge. The Starforge wasn't just impressive, it was a massive space station factory that fed off the power of the dark side and churned out fleets of warships and war droids. Think of it as a 3D printer powered by pure evil, capable of creating entire armadas. But here's where it gets interesting. The Starforge further corrupted its builders, and the Empire began to fracture. The Rakata had great influence on the galaxy's history, being responsible for everything from the Rosher trees on Kashyyyk to turning Tatooine into a desert world. Their ultimate fate? A plague robbed them of their Force sensitivity, and their empire crumbled overnight. The dark side giveth, and the dark side absolutely taketh away. The Sith who came later learned from these examples. They developed their own dark arts. Sith alchemy allowed them to transform living beings into monsters and enhance weapons with dark side energy. Sith sorcery went even further. Darth Sidious and Count Dooku used Sith magic to project illusions across the galaxy. During the Clone Wars, they performed a ritual requiring a cauldron, Force lightning, blood sacrifice, and incantations in the ancient Sith language to attack Yoda's mind while he was on Moraband. These weren't just party tricks. The ancient Sith built temples on worlds like Malachor and Moraband that served as massive dark side amplifiers. Walking into these places was like stepping into a nuclear reactor of evil, the very air saturated with dark side energy. Even thousands of years later, these sites could corrupt visitors, trigger horrifying visions, and awaken dormant dark side artifacts. The Sith understood that true power came not just from personal strength, but from bending the very fabric of reality to their will. Number 4. Mind games. The scariest dark side power? It's not the lightning or the choking, it's the manipulation. The Sith and other dark side walkers are able to create vivid, powerful astral projections of whatever they choose. These projections are not just visible, but will affect all 5 senses of the viewer. Imagine experiencing something that feels completely real, but it's all an illusion crafted by someone who wants to break your mind. Darth Sidious was the undisputed master of this art. For decades, he sat in the same room as the most powerful Jedi Masters in the galaxy, and they sensed nothing. It could be said that the dark side's most potent ability was to shroud and mislead even the strongest Jedi Knights, as Sidious did, masking his evil presence and intentions from the entire Jedi Council. This wasn't just a simple disguise. It was a complete inversion of reality itself. Think about the implications. The Jedi Temple sat atop an ancient Sith shrine, which Sidious knew amplified the dark side's clouding effects. Every time the Jedi Council met to discuss the growing darkness in the Force, the very source of that darkness was often sitting just a few floors away in the Senate building, probably having a good chuckle. The dark side didn't just hide Sidious. It actively misdirected the Jedi's perceptions, making them look everywhere except where they should have. But mental manipulation goes beyond mere concealment. During the Clone Wars, Sidious and Dooku performed that ritual on Coruscant to attack Yoda on Moraband. They created illusions so powerful that Yoda, arguably the strongest Jedi alive, struggled to distinguish reality from deception. The visions showed him alternate futures, dead friends, and temptations designed to break his spirit. The dark side also grants the ability to dominate minds directly. While Jedi mind tricks work on the weak-willed, dark side users can overwhelm even strong minds through sheer force. They can implant suggestions, extract information, or even completely rewrite someone's personality. The victim might never realize they've been compromised. What makes these powers truly terrifying is their subtlety. A lightsaber duel is obvious. Mental warfare leaves no visible wounds. By the time you realize you're under attack, it's often too late. The dark side doesn't just corrupt its users. It spreads that corruption like a virus through entire populations, turning trust into paranoia and hope into despair. Number 5. Addictive nature. Here's the real truth about the dark side. It's basically force crack. The usage of the dark side was addictive and all-consuming, which most often lead its users down a path of destruction. Yoda wasn't being dramatic when he said, "Once you start down the dark path, forever will it dominate your destiny." He was giving Luke a medical warning about the most dangerous addiction in the galaxy. The dark side is more destructive, faster to learn, and easier to master than the light. That's the hook. You're struggling with traditional Jedi training, spending years learning to lift rocks, and then someone shows you a shortcut. Suddenly you're throwing lightning, choking enemies from across the room, and feeling more powerful than you ever imagined. Who wouldn't be tempted? But here's what they don't tell you in the recruitment brochure. The dark side fundamentally rewires your brain. Every time you tap into those negative emotions, you're creating neural pathways that make it easier to do so again. It's like carving grooves in your mind. Soon, anger becomes your default response. Fear becomes your constant companion. The emotions you once controlled now control you. Asajj Ventress, the Dark Acolyte, observed that individuals on the dark side of the Force never find peace, as they constantly crave more, even when they have already acquired what they sought. You get a taste of that power, and suddenly nothing else satisfies. You need bigger hits, stronger emotions, more destruction. It's an endless cycle of craving and temporary satisfaction. This is why redemption is so rare. It's not just about saying sorry or choosing to be good again. It's about breaking an addiction that has rewired your entire being. Vader managed it, but only through the ultimate sacrifice, and only because his love for his son overcame decades of conditioning. Most Darksiders, they ride that lightning all the way down. The truly insidious part is how the dark side presents itself. It whispers that you're different, special, that you can control it where others have failed. It promises that just this once, just for this emergency, you can use it and walk away. But there's no such thing as just once with the dark side. Every Sith Lord started as someone who thought they could handle it. Every single one ended up enslaved by the very power they sought to master. Number 6. Ultimate cost. Let's talk about what the dark side really cost you. The Sith like to talk about breaking chains, but they're actually forging new ones with every choice they make. Attachment does not signify love but possession, reflecting the selfishness of the dark side. Devoid of love, the dark side thrives on attachment, feeding on the fear of loss and fostering greed. You think you're gaining power to protect what you love, but you're actually destroying it. Anakin's story is the perfect cautionary tale. He turned to the dark side to save Padme from death, a future he saw in visions. But those very actions, his fall, his desperation, his violence, created the exact scenario he was trying to prevent. In his rage and paranoia, he force-choked his pregnant wife, directly causing the medical complications that killed her. The dark side didn't give him the power to save her. It gave him the power to destroy everything he loved. This is the cosmic joke of the Sith. They claim, "Through victory my chains are broken," but they become slaves to their own power. Emperor Palpatine spent decades scheming to rule the galaxy, and what did he get? A life of paranoia, constantly watching for the apprentice who would inevitably betray him, unable to trust anyone, unable to experience genuine connection. He had all the power in the galaxy, and nothing that made life worth living. The dark side represents a combination of possessiveness, selfishness, and fear of loss, ultimately giving rise to hatred, suffering, and anger. Those who become deeply entrenched in the dark side experience increasing misery. They can't enjoy their victories because they're always hungry for more. They can't maintain relationships because they see everyone as either a tool or a threat. They can't find peace because the dark side demands constant conflict. Even the Sith Code reveals this truth. It ends with, "The Force shall free me." But free to do what? To exist in a state of perpetual rage? To trust no one? To spend eternity looking over your shoulder? That's not freedom. It's the ultimate prison. The dark side promises control but delivers chaos. It promises strength but brings weakness. It promises victory but ensures defeat. The real power of the dark side isn't in what it gives you, it's in what it takes away. And by the time you realize the true cost, it's usually far too late to turn back. The dark side's power is real, but so is its price. Want to explore more about the Force's mysteries? Subscribe and let the Force guide you to our next deep dive into the galaxy far, far away.